Jordan Adams was just 23 years old when he was told he had inherited a rare faulty gene, which means he will develop dementia in his early 40s.
He's already tragically lost his mum, aunts, cousins to the disease. Jordan firmly believes we are at the beginning of the end, though, for dementia, and he is going to dedicate the rest of his life to help find a cure. He joins us now. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Jordan, you're 28 now, so you found out 5 years ago that you had this gene, but it has already wreaked devastation in your family, hasn't it? Did you want to find out for a particular purpose? Because there might be some people who might think, wouldn't want to know.
Sure, yeah. I mean, this goes back to 2010 when my mum was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia in June of 2010. And my dad had to, obviously, pull myself, my two siblings, my older sister and my younger brother into the front room and basically tell us that my mum had a rare type of frontotemporal dementia and that she had 6 to 10 years to live. And from there, through my teenage years, my brother being 9 years old, I was 15, and my older sister was only 17. So through that 6-year period when mum lived with dementia, we had to watch her deteriorate and also care for her. So having obviously watched my mum deteriorate and live with the dementia, initially, after my mum's passing and dealing with the grief of my mum's passing, it's not something that I particularly wanted to kind of face up to myself in terms of learning if I was a carrier of the gene myself. However, my older sister, being the shining light that she is, she kind of led the way in wanting to know, and she went through a process of genetic testing in the early parts of 2018. And she found out that she had the all clear, so she's got the same chance as anybody is developing a case of dementia or Alzheimer's.
She does not have the faulty gene.
That's correct. So she inherited the normal copy of the gene from my dad's side of the family. After that, seeing my sister go through that process, got the inspiration to find out myself. And in September of that same year, I found out that I was a carrier of the gene. So I inherited the faulty copy of the MAPT gene, which causes frontotemporal dementia. Obviously, I'm 28 years of age now, but I'm likely to develop symptoms in my early 40s. So my brother then found out earlier this year, at the same age as I did at 23, that he's also a carrier of the gene. So he found out in February of last year, sorry.
Jordan, how do you process a moment like that? Because I'd imagine your sister getting the all clear gave you a lot of hope that, well, look, if she's got the all clear, there's every chance that I will as well.
Yeah, it's a strange one because obviously I mentioned that I didn't want to know for a long period of time after losing our mum. So I think it got to a point where I kind of couldn't get on with my own life because I was thinking of the cloud of uncertainty that was hanging over me, whether I had it or not. I had sleepless nights, and I just decided one day that after seeing my sister go through the process that I wanted to know. So having that uncertainty, it was actually quite an overwhelming feeling of relief, which a lot of people are actually quite surprised at. But it's given me the power to be able to make decisions for the future, for me to be able to, stop this from going any further. I'm not going to pass this on to my children, and ultimately, myself and my brother now are going to live a life of raising as much awareness and funds, hopefully, for research through Alzheimer's Research UK.
When you say you're not going to pass it on to your own children, you've actually been in a very sensitive situation, haven't you? Because you're going to get married.
That's
you
correct,
are engaged to a lovely
July
woman
this year,
to be married. And you want to raise a family. You have an enormous responsibility that you've placed on yourself, haven't you, not to pass that gene on? So what has happened as a consequence?
Yeah, I think ultimately the driving force for all of us to have the test was to stop this going any further. This is, devastated our family, and it's something that we want to stop in its tracks. So last year, me and my partner found out that she was pregnant, but because obviously we want to make the informed choice that we don't want it to go passed on to our children, we unfortunately went through a stage of pre-implantation. We went through a stage of genetic testing for the child and found out that they were a carrier of the gene. So we had to unfortunately terminate that pregnancy because we didn't want that child to have to go through what we did in our childhood. I know not everybody would agree with that, but that's a choice that we made. But we are hopeful that through pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, which is a form of IVF where they can actually test the fertilised eggs that we produce to know whether they're that fetus is a carrier of the faulty gene or not. And hopefully, I mean, it gives us a 30% chance of taking a healthy, happy baby home. So, you know, the odds are against us, but there is hope that we can start a family of our own and that they won't have to go through what we had to go through.
Your eloquence is really impressive, particularly facing what you are. Clearly, it's been a huge part of your family, and the support that you get from them and making those decisions is the sort of decision that no one at your age should have to make. But I know that making the next 15 years of your life the best it can possibly be and living those 15 years is a real driver for you. And you've set yourself, you and your brother have set yourself the challenge of doing everything you possibly can to raise as much money and awareness to try and rid us all of the spectre of dementia. Tell us about some of the challenges you've done, that you're doing, what you've set yourself, Jordan.
Sure, yeah. I mean, first of all, nobody knows what's around the corner. You know, life's short, and I would encourage everybody to make the most of it. You know, regardless, we're all dealt different cards in life, and ultimately we have to make the most out of every day that we've got. For me and my brother, it's about raising as much awareness and funds for research. So I kind of set the ball rolling post my diagnosis in 2018 with, I ran the virtual marathon through COVID around my hometown. I've ran London twice, the second time being part of a challenge where I ran 7 marathons in 7 days.
Amazing.
Raising a total of £18,000 for Alzheimer's Research UK. And since then, since my brother's diagnosis, we kind of decided that we wanted to kind of represent the widespread prevalence of dementia in the UK, because ultimately it's going to be something that's going to affect, you know, it's going to devastate 1 in 2 people in our lifetime. Dementia is a very real thing that we need to kind of combat now and hopefully take the stigma away that, you know, this is a natural part of ageing. It's not. It's caused by diseases, and diseases are something that we know we can cure. But the only way we cure it is through research. So we've kind of gone very big on our next challenge in September. So on September 1st, we're going to be starting in John O'Groats, and we're going to be running the entire length of the country. So over a 31-day period, averaging about 27 miles a day for 30 days consecutively, finishing with just over a half marathon on October 1st, finishing in Land's End for our kind of victory lap.
Amazing.
And hopefully a little break in Cornwall after. But yeah, as much awareness as possible and funds raised for Alzheimer's Research UK would be fantastic. So.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.
Jordan, you're so positive. I wonder how you stop yourself having dark thoughts about what you face, because you saw it in action with your mum. And also how you stop other people treating you differently as well.
Sure, I think it's difficult. You know, I'll come on here, I look like a very happy young man. Don't get me wrong, I'll go through times where I have very low points. My partner's fantastic. I've got a great support network with my family who are very supportive. And outside of that, with my local football club, Pershore Town, they're absolutely brilliant with the support they provide throughout my challenges and things like that. And even the local community who have sponsored our next challenge, you know, I've had so much support. And that's kind of the driving force that keeps me going. Yeah. These challenges and these running challenges that I set myself are kind of a therapy in itself. You know, that's something that is almost a coping mechanism for me. It gives me something to kind of distract my mind. And ultimately, when I become symptomatic, I don't want to be the type of person who's hidden away. I want people to see the type of person that ultimately, you know, I'm going to be stripped of a lot of characteristics that I've got now and my personality. And I don't want to be hidden away. I want people to see what, you know, frontotemporal dementia does to people. It's not nice, but I think facing up to it and hopefully showing exactly what dementia is. And don't get me wrong, dementia comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but hopefully by doing that, people will start to understand that it's something that we need to combat, and that the only way we do that is through research, and that's why we need to fund it.
Your positivity is just shining out of you. I think, as you say, the next however long you've got before you start making as many memories with you and your fiancée, who's in the studio over there as well. She punched the air when you mentioned the wedding, by the way.
Oh, when's the wedding?
July, end of July, 26th. Yeah.
Fantastic.
All those memories with the family as well, hugely important, because you're going to, you know, there you go. See why you're smiling as well. But I just wish you all the best. Yeah. I think it's an incredible challenge that you and your brother have set yourselves, and I don't doubt you're going to rise to that challenge as well, Jordan. You're incredible.
Do you know what? I wonder, it's only 15 years, but that's 15 years of research that can be done in that time, isn't it?
Who knows?
That's it, yeah. I mean, we're realists, you know, we're not optimists, but anything can happen in technology these days.
Honestly, if we can do what we can do with AI...
That's it.
That 15 years is a long time with the amount of exponential speed in tech that we have at the moment.
Most definitely. We're very hopeful, so...
Well, Good luck, Jordan, and we'll stay in touch.
We will.
And I think what you've
Be
said
good to
is...
see Ben for a few miles during the challenge.
Ready.
Ben's always
ready.
up for a challenge, especially
Jordan, you
if
let
it
me know.
involves running.
I'll do the last few victory lap ones down in Land's End, if that's all right.
Sounds good.
Great stuff, Jordan. Thank you so much. If you're affected by the issue that Jordan's been talking about and you want to find advice and support, that is all available for you at itv.com/helpline.
Fantastic stuff.